I was 17 years old and used to go to high school. I and my school pals, whose names were Tom and Jeff, had been a lot into haunted stuff. We used to watch lots of horror films and play horrifying games and stuff a lot. One day, Jeff went to a shop and bought the Ouija board. The next day at school, he began telling us all about it. We had determined that we will check it out at night. We had deliberated that three of us will accumulate at Tom's area and play the sport. When it was night time, I and my younger brother fought over our PlayStation that who might play first. Of course, he informed our mom about it, and my mother, like usually, grounded me for a day. And my plan had been destroyed. I went directly to my room, called Tom, and informed him about it. Then he stated that we must cancel the plan for now and do it some other time. The very next day, once I went to school, Tom and Jeff had deliberated to tease me that I just made an excuse for staying at home and was scared of playing the sport. We laughed the whole time on this, after which we had planned to move it over the weekend. We all were excited and invited our other friends, but of course, not everyone is brave enough to play that game. We three used to think that those are just stories which might be made just to scare human beings and keep them away from such things. That's exactly what we desired to find out, if it was real or not. There had been 2 days for the weekend to come. In the evening, all of us met in a coffee shop and did a few research on the Ouija board, its policies and methods of playing it. We additionally searched about it if it was real or not. It was all over the net that it was real. However, some human beings did disagree. In easy words, 80% of humans stated that it's actual and 20% stated that those are simply stories. I bet that we were a part of that 20%. Time exceeded and finally, it was Saturday today. I woke up early in the morning and went for a jog like I do every day. Then in the evening, I took permission from my mom so I could spend the night at Tom's place. She agreed due to the fact I helped her the complete day. I packed my stuff and went to Tom's house. When I reached there, Jeff wasn't there yet, so we needed to wait for him. When he came, we watched a film, and when it was midnight, Tom bought the board and unpacked it. It had a page with instructions written on it. The main instruction was to always say goodbye. Well, we didn't honestly take note of the commands and simply carried on. Jeff spread out the board and then placed the planchette on the board. All three folks placed one finger each at the planchette. Tom lit up a few candles just to provide it a frightening effect. We requested a question. Is anyone there? Then we waited for a minute or two. Then the planchette moved to yes, printed on the board. I thought that Tom or Jeff did it. We simply giggled, and then Jeff requested a question. Am I handsome? Then Tom purposely moved the planchette to no. We all laughed out loud. As Ouija board is used to speak to dead people, my dad had passed away in a car accident a few months back. I desired to talk to him. I asked, "Dad, are you there?" planchette moved to yes. I idea that Jeff did it. Then I requested, "Do you miss me?" Then the planchette moved from yes to the center of the board, after which went returned to yes. To be honest, now I had started to suppose that this isn't fake. Then I asked, "What is my name?" Then the planchette moved to each letter and in the long run made the word Adam, which was my name. After that, I asked each one of them which one among them did this, and both of them replied no. Obviously, I didn't buy that. I thought that they were just trying to scare me. Then we had decided that after I will ask the question, that all three people will lift our finger from the planchette. I asked, "How do you experience after dying?" After which, as quickly, because the planchette started to move, we lifted our fingers from it, and it was still moving. We were all shocked and scared. It smelled terrible. Now we knew that it was real. So the incidents that happened with Ouija boards must be real too. We packed up the game and went to sleep. I had a dream that night in which I was drowsing at Tom's home in his room with Tom and Jeff, and Dad was looking at me standing in the door. I got up from the bed and went to him. I hugged him and we talked for a couple of minutes. Then he had vanished. All of a sudden, I woke up and I looked towards the door and I noticed a shadow of my dad's figure. At first, I got scared and then he asked me in an indignant voice, "Why did you kill me?" I replied, "I didn't kill you, Dad. It was you and Mom in the car arguing, and then you crashed the vehicle." Then he stated, "Your mother killed me." I told him that she thinks that too. Jeff was hearing me talk and woke up and called out my name. I told him that it's my dad, and as quickly as I looked back towards the door, he had vanished. I couldn't sleep after that. After Jeff slept, I noticed him again. This time, he was bleeding from the identical spots whilst he was at the time he died. I noticed his dead body. He told me to kill my mother and that she would kill me and my brother as well. I advised him that I am now not loopy and that I won't kill her. Then he stated, "Fine, I'll kill her by myself." I simply stated, "Dad, go back from which you came," and went back to bed. In the morning, when I went home, I knocked at the door and rang the bell. However, nobody responded. So I simply took the spare key out and went inside to search for them. I went to my mother's room and she was lying on the mattress dead, and her whole bed was full of blood. I screamed out loud and ran to my brother's room. He was also dead. I called 911. I stayed that night in my neighbor's home. When I was napping at the night, I woke up around 2 a.m. and I noticed him. I went to him and pushed him and yelled, "Why did you do it?" He replied, "Because you didn't do it." I punched him, after which he started choking me. He picked me up from my neck and placed me on my bed. Then he started out stabbing me with a knife. I felt a lot of pain and tried to scream, but he had covered my mouth. I felt the first 2-3 steps, but then I started to lose energy and everything was turning black. After a few seconds, completely black. Then all of a sudden, I woke up in my house. It was around 5 a.m. I was happy that it was only a nightmare. I went to the kitchen to get some water, and then I felt like I should check up on my mom. I went to her room and she was dead. I could see blood all over her bedsheet. Then I rushed to my brother's room and he was dead too. I didn't know what had happened to them. It was so unexpected. I called 911 and they checked the house. After they were done, they said that there may be nobody else in this residence. Also, no murder weapon was found. My aunt had offered me to live with her till I get self-dependent. I had no other option, so I glaringly accepted her offer. It's been 6 months since the incident. I still haven't figured out what had happened to them or who killed them. The police were still investigating for this killing, and my house was still a crime scene.